No knife, no matches, no light. What now? You're lost in a dry creek bed with nothing but a nearly empty water bottle. The sun is high, there's no breeze, and the plants are drooping. You know you need to find more water, but how? Digging for water isn't magic. It relies on understanding where groundwater might be present. This method can work if you're in an area with underground springs or aquifers near a dried-up creek bed. However, it's crucial to stay hydrated and avoid exerting yourself too much in the heat. Always purify any collected water before drinking it. This is your survival guide. Here, that's what keeps you alive. Dig in a dry creek bed. First things first, you don't need any fancy tools, just basic items most people have on them already. A tarp or plastic bag to catch the water and a digging tool like a knife, stick, or even your hands if that's all you've got. And lastly, patience is key. This is step 1. Remember, however, always ensure that any water collected must be purified before consumption to prevent illness from potential pathogens. Also, check local regulations regarding water collection and conservation in the area where you're. Step 1. Find the right spot. Look for low spots in the dry creek bed where water once pooled, as these areas might still have moisture beneath the surface if it rained recently and the ground remains soft. Avoid direct sunlight by choosing a shaded area to slow evaporation. Early morning dew or late afternoon shadows can help indicate dampness in the soil. Remember, before digging for water, always check local laws regarding water collection in natural areas. Step 2. Start digging. Pick a spot with loose soil in a dry creek bed where water can seep through easily. Avoid clay as it'll be too hard and time-consuming to dig. Aim for sandy or gravelly ground. Dig a small hole about the size of your fist, making it deep enough to see if there's moisture beneath the surface. If you're lucky, you might hit damp soil right away. Remember, any water you find should always be purified before drinking to avoid potential pathogens. Check local laws and regulations regarding water collection in dry creek beds, as they may vary by region. Step 3. Wait. If you found damp earth but no visible water, cover the hole with your tarp or plastic bag. Position it so one corner points down into the hole like a funnel to catch any moisture that collects. Ensure an edge of the tarp hangs over to collect condensation that forms on its underside and drips back into your hole. Remember, while this method can be effective, always prioritize purifying collected water before drinking it to avoid pathogens. Step 4. Check. Wait at least an hour, preferably longer if you're not in dire need right now, as the sun needs time to heat up and draw moisture from the ground. If no water appears after digging for a while, dig deeper. You might have to go down 2 feet or more depending on how dry the area is. Remember, always purify collected water before drinking to avoid any pathogens or harmful microorganisms that can cause illness. Also, check local laws and regulations regarding water collection methods in your area. Step 5. Collect. Once you find water, carefully scoop it using your hands or any container you have. Pour the water through a clean cloth like a bandana to filter out dirt and debris. Do not drink it directly. Purify by boiling if possible, or use purification tablets. If neither option is available, this source remains an emergency measure but comes with increased risk of pathogens. Always prioritize finding alternative sources when feasible and ensure proper purification before drinking any water collected in the wild. Most people make 2 big mistakes. They dig too shallow, thinking that water will be just below the surface, and they give up too quickly. Water doesn't appear instantly. It seeps slowly and requires patience to accumulate. Wait longer than you expect before concluding there's no water present. Always remember to purify any water collected, as natural sources can harbor harmful pathogens. Additionally, be aware of local laws regarding water collection in specific areas. Here's the deal. Digging for water can work if you're patient. The The sun heats the ground and can draw up some moisture from deeper layers, which may eventually condense in a makeshift funnel or collection device and drip into your hole. However, be aware that this method is often slow and unreliable, and it's important to have alternative methods of finding clean water as well. Untreated water found naturally should always be purified before drinking to avoid harmful pathogens. Additionally, ensure you're not violating any local laws regarding water access or environmental protection in the area where you're digging. But there's more. How do you know if you found water? If after an hour or two of digging and waiting you still haven't hit damp soil, it's time to reevaluate your spot. Maybe the ground is too dry here. Move a short distance up or down the creek bed and try again. However, remember that finding water can be challenging, especially in arid conditions. Always purify any water you find before drinking, as even clear water sources can harbor harmful pathogens. The right spot will make all the difference, but never forget to prioritize safety and proper hydration techniques. And if you do find water but it's not enough, dig deeper or move on to another location. Look for areas where two different soil types meet, such as sand against clay, which often indicates groundwater might be closer to the surface. Always remember to filter and purify your water before drinking it to ensure it's safe from pathogens. Additionally, make sure you're aware of local laws regarding water rights and extraction in any given area. Here's a crucial tip. If you're in a dry creek bed and need water, dig deeply into the lowest point where water naturally collects. Wait patiently. It can take hours for moisture to seep up from the surrounding earth. However, always remember that not all water sources are safe to drink. Make sure to purify any water you find before consumption. Additionally, check local regulations about digging and altering natural landscapes in protected areas. But there's one more thing. What if digging doesn't reveal any water? If you don't find moisture or you need to rethink your approach? Look for any signs of recent water, wet spots on rocks, damp patches in sandbars, or fresh vegetation near the creek bed. Follow these clues uphill and downstream until you find promising areas with soil that looks darker or more compact, indicating moisture below. However, always remember to purify any water before drinking it to avoid harmful pathogens. Additionally, be aware of local laws regarding water collection and usage in conservation areas. In short, dry ground, deep hole, long wait. While this method can potentially yield water in a pinch, it's crucial to understand that digging for water in a creek bed or any other location is no guarantee of success and should be your last resort. Always prioritize searching known water sources first. If you do decide to dig, ensure you have the right tools and are aware of local geology to increase your chances. Remember, untreated water can harbor pathogens, so always purify it before drinking. This can work, but get it wrong and it could cost you your safety. Always ensure the area is likely to have groundwater and use proper digging techniques to avoid collapse or injury. Remember, even if you find water, purify it before drinking to prevent illness from potential pathogens. Remember, digging for water isn't a last resort. It's a practical skill that requires knowledge of local geology and hydrology. It might take time, effort, and careful planning, but it can make the difference between survival and dehydration in an arid environment. However, always ensure you're aware of local laws and regulations regarding groundwater extraction before attempting this technique. This is educational only. Foraging, hunting, fishing carry real risks and are governed by local laws and seasons. Always verify plant and animal IDs with an expert using field guides. Follow your local regulations, and never eat anything you cannot 100% identify as safe. Here's what keeps you alive: patience, persistence, and the right spot to dig for water in a dry creek bed. First, look for signs of water nearby. Moss on rocks, damp soil, or patches of green vegetation can suggest moisture beneath the surface. Follow these clues uphill and downstream until you locate an area that appears more promising for digging or find standing water. If you decide to dig a hole in a dry creek bed, ensure it's done safely and legally. Always purify any collected water before drinking, as untreated water can carry harmful pathogens. Once you've picked your spot, start digging carefully. Use a sturdy stick, a knife blade, or any improvised tool you have on hand. The goal is not just depth but also width, as a wider hole will catch more seepage and allow for better drainage if the soil is sandy. Remember to purify any water before drinking it, even from natural sources, to avoid harmful pathogens. Always check local laws and regulations regarding digging or altering natural water sources in your area. As you dig, stay alert to subtle changes in the soil composition. A layer of gravel beneath sand can indicate that water is not far away. However, remember that untreated water from natural sources like creeks can harbor harmful pathogens and must be purified before drinking. Keep digging until you hit damp soil or start seeing water seeping into your hole, but always ensure to filter and purify any collected water for safe consumption. Even when a creek bed appears dry on the surface, water can be present underground. Aquifers and subsurface water flow can provide a source of water, but it's important to know how to safely locate and access them. Always ensure you purify any water found before drinking, as underground sources may contain harmful bacteria or pathogens. Additionally, digging for water should only be done in areas where it's legal to do so, respecting local laws and regulations. In short, dry ground, deep hole, long wait, but this method isn't always reliable for finding water. If you're in a dry creek bed, digging might yield some moisture, but it could also be an inefficient use of energy. Always look for more obvious signs of water like green vegetation or animal tracks first. Remember, any water collected must be purified before drinking to avoid harmful pathogens. But here's the tricky part. Once you've found water, it might not be safe to drink right away. Sediment and other particles in the soil can make the water cloudy or even muddy, potentially harboring harmful bacteria and pathogens. Tomorrow on the Survival Files, boil water safely with only a metal can.